I used to believe silence was a kind of safety. Out here, miles from any road, I could go whole weeks without hearing another human voice. That's why I came, after the divorce, after the city ground me down. The cabin had been standing since the 30s, built by some prospector who disappeared into the forest and never came back. I didn't think much of that detail when I signed the papers. People disappear all the time out here. The mirror came with the cabin. It hangs in the hallway between the bedroom and the tiny bathroom, ornate, silver-framed, too heavy to move. I noticed it the first night, the way it reflected a little too dark, as if the glass had depth. I told myself it was age, dust trapped under the surface. You learn to listen differently in the woods. There's a rhythm, wind, rain, small things moving. When something breaks that rhythm, you feel it in your bones. The first break came on my fourth night. I was reading beside the fire when I heard footsteps on the porch. Slow. Heavy. 1, 2, pause. 3. I went to the door, opened it, and found nothing. No prints in the snow. Just my reflection in the window glass staring back at me. Except, my reflection didn't move when I did. It kept looking straight at the door. I shut the curtains, laughed it off, and poured another drink. But later, heading to bed, I caught the mirror glimmer in the hallway. My reflection's eyes followed me before I'd even stepped in front of it. I stopped sleeping with the lights off after that. Every night, the hum got louder, a low vibration, almost like a human throat clearing far away. Once, half asleep, I thought I heard words writing inside the hum. Come back. Days passed. I started noticing small changes. My reflection's shirt buttoned the wrong way. The burn mark on my hand switched sides. I blamed fatigue, isolation. But the more I watched, the more wrong things I found. One morning, sunlight cut through the trees and hit the mirror. For a split second I saw the hallway behind my reflection bend, like a room opening deeper inside the glass. There was someone standing back there, just a shadow shape, but tall, with its head tilted. I moved closer. My reflection smiled first. I stumbled back, hit the wall, and stayed there until dark. When I finally dared to look again, the glass was dull, calm, ordinary. That night, I dragged an old blanket and slept by the stove. At 3:11 a.m., a crash woke me, the sound of something falling hard. The mirror had dropped off the wall. The nails were still in place, the wire unbroken, yet it lay face down on the floorboards. When I turned it over, the reflection didn't match the cabin anymore. The version of me inside stood in a different room, one with no firelight, just endless black behind him. I covered it with a bedsheet. But even under cloth, the humming continued. Every night it called, like a voice behind glass. By the 7th day I'd stopped shaving, stopped cooking. All I did was sit and listen. Sometimes I caught faint tapping from inside the mirror, 3 slow knocks, like the footsteps I'd heard before. Then one evening, I noticed handprints on the inner surface of the glass. They were larger than mine. I knew I should leave, but the road floods fast in this part of the forest. The storm made sure of that. So I waited, lights burning in every room. Around midnight, the lamps flickered out. I still had the flashlight, and when I turned it on, the mirror was glowing faintly beneath the sheet. Something moved under the cloth, slowly pushing outward, shaping the fabric like a face pressing through. That's when I realized the hum wasn't coming from the mirror at all. It was coming from inside my chest, like an echo answering it. I stood there frozen, light trembling in my hand, watching the sheet breathe in and out like lungs. Then it stopped. The hum dropped to a low heartbeat that matched my own. I pulled the blanket away. The mirror's surface looked like black water. My reflection was gone. In its place stood the figure from before, tall, bent, its head tilted like a question. It moved closer, but the surface didn't ripple. It simply stepped forward until its face filled the frame. Its eyes were mine, only older, hollowed out by years I hadn't lived yet. It whispered something I couldn't hear, and the breath fogged the inside of the glass. When the fog cleared, words were written backward across it. Let me in. I stumbled back. The flashlight hit the floor, spinning its beam across the walls. Every reflection it touched, window panes, kettle lid, even the darkened television, held the same man staring back. I turned toward the door, ready to run, but the knob twisted before I reached it. Not from outside, from my reflection in the window. His hand mirrored mine exactly, only faster, stronger. The door slammed shut. The hum turned into a low chant. It filled the rooms, the air, my bones. I felt the cabin tilt, walls groaning as though pulled toward the mirror. In the flicker of the dying firelight, I saw everything in reverse. Flames curling inward, smoke flowing back into the logs. The world rewinding. And the man in the mirror stepped through. He didn't crawl or burst. He simply appeared on my side, his skin catching the firelight like wet glass. He smiled, a perfect copy of mine, and raised a trembling hand to my cheek. Wherever he touched, the skin burned cold. I don't remember falling. I only remember opening my eyes to daylight and the silence afterward. The mirror hung back on the wall as if it had never moved. No footprints, no damage. But when I looked for my reflection that morning, I didn't have one. Days passed before I realized what that meant. I cast no shadow either. The sunlight simply passed through me like smoke. The humming had stopped, but I could still feel something watching from behind the glass, testing the surface, waiting. I boarded up the hallway and moved a mattress to the main room. The generator ran until the fuel gave out, and after that I lived by the fire. Sometimes when the flames die low, I see movement in the blackened kettle lid, an outline standing behind me. I don't turn around anymore. If you ever find this cabin, don't touch the mirror. Don't even wipe the dust from it. Whatever comes through doesn't go back. And if one night you catch your reflection smiling first, leave. Don't wait for it to speak. Because once it does, you've already traded places. If this story kept you watching through the dark, you already know the woods keep their secrets. There are more true horrors waiting, each one whispered straight from the mirror's edge. Subscribe to Dew of Dread, where every reflection has a story, and some are still staring back.